What is up, everybody? Neurocosm here from Team Neurocosm Gaming, and today we're going to get started on Project Gateway. So, what that is I have this old office computer that I got from work. The power supply was all messed up, and we're going to see if we can make it into something good, which I hope we can. So, this is the Gateway DX4860 UR15P, because that's a name, that's how you name things. It used to be an old Windows 7 machine. It has Intel Core i5 2320, which I think is like a 3 gigahertz processor. I don't know. I'm an AMD kind of guy. It's got a 1 terabyte Seagate Barracuda hard drive in it, so load times aren't going to be the fastest, but um, I believe in Seagate. I feel like that's reliable. And it also has 4 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, which we are going to be upgrading. It is going to be mix and matched RAM, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with mismatched RAM. Just know that you're not going to get the correct speeds for everything, which in this motherboard's BIOS, we can't upgrade the speed for the RAM anyway. So let's go ahead and get into here. I already opened opened this up and cleaned it out and removed the power supply, so that's not going to be in part of the video. Um, Also, we took the screws out of the back of this. So as we can see in here, it's kind of still dirty, but I tried to clean it real quick. Um, Here's our CPU, which is the Core i5, which we're leaving this, and I've already taken this cooler off and repasted it just to give it a little bit of hope because as you can probably see, we have no intake fans in the front, and we have one fan in the back, which I want to say is maybe a 90 millimeter fan, 92 millimeter fan. Not 100% sure on that. It's definitely smaller than a 120 though. So what we're going to be doing is throwing some more RAM in here, and obviously we're going to need a power supply. But while we can still get at it, I would like to get the RAM first. So since we don't have the power supply, let's go ahead and get our RAM in here while we can still access it good because, and I think this is hilarious. It says on the side of that panel that has great cable management. The back of this case doesn't even come off, so you really don't. So this is a 4 gigabytes. Let me see if I can get that any better. Now this is a 4 gigabyte stick of DDR3. It runs at 13,033 megahertz and is made by Unifosa, which I have never heard of before. And it looks like the actual chips on it are from Elpida, which are made in Taiwan. So we're going to go ahead and throw that back in there. So there is 4 gigs. Now, typically games are recommending 16, but I doubt that this machine is going to be able to take full advantage of all 16 gigs before everything else tops out. So we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt. We're going to give it as much as we can. And again, this is going to be mixed match memory just because that's what I have lying around. And yeah, most of the stuff I have is DDR4. Next, we have 4 more gigs of Samsung, and we are going to populate all these slots, but I would like the uh, 4 gigs to be in the same channel as each other. Now, why is that not clicking in? There's 1 click. There's 2 clicks. The rest of our RAM actually does match. We have 2 sticks of Crucial DDR3. It's a 1600 megahertz, which is the fastest out of all of them. But again, we're going to get slowed down by that Samsung DIMM. Now, these are only 2 gig modules, so putting them both in is going to be another 4. So we'll be running with 12 gigabytes of RAM.
Make sure you got your key in there properly on the top and bottom, and make sure your tabs are open before you try and start doing this, or else you're going to have a bad time. One click, two click. And now this is the same. It's another stick of Crucial, which we actually got this out of the 6350 upgrade. So don't know if we actually made video for that. I don't think this one went all the way in. Okay, there's our second click. There's our click over there. So I guess I didn't have this all the way in. So now we've upgraded it so far from 4 gigabytes to 12 gigabytes, and let's add some more stuff. So we're gonna need a power supply because the old one kind of messed out on us. And luckily we have this 600 watt power supply from EVGA, which I've heard some negative things about the power supplies from EVGA, but we're gonna throw it in here anyway. So the main really thing with this is there's a track up here where it's gonna sit in. And we're going to put it up there and slide it back underneath through these covers here that kind of keep it in place, and then put our 4 screws in the back. Now the reason I went with this power supply is because I wanted something good enough to power the graphics card that was going to go in here, but unfortunately, apparently that power supply or that graphics card died. So we got to get a new one, which I'm not exactly thrilled about. Now this is a bit of a difficult process, I will admit that. Trying to get this to slide in through everything correctly. And then lock into place with all that stuff up there. Now that that's in there, EVG actually sends screws with it, so that's very nice. Another big thing with picking power supplies is we wanted to make sure that we had one where the pins were going to work. So in this case, we are going to need the 24-pin connector, but we needed the 4-pin CPU connector instead of the typical 8. So if you are trying to upgrade through this with a power supply, you want to make sure that whatever the power supply is, that your connectors are going to fit in to the motherboard. So let's try to neaten some of these things up before we even start. I'm just going to throw that over the top there. Figure out what things can go where. So we know that we don't need these. See, they were already zip tied and ready to go, but we know we don't need these anymore. So we can kind of ball them up and tuck them away up here. We're just gonna try to go in the back and just throw them in this hard drive bin right here. What this little pin is to? Well, I know what it's to. I just don't know. To be honest, I don't know what it does. But you have this loose cable with 2 pins on it. That's why I want to say it's the thing for the power button. That's the only thing that I could think of because there's no other place down there. So we're gonna go ahead and give that a little connection here. You can't really plug into this in wrong because there is a kind of a guide to it. There's a little lock, and you see the other thing has a lock as well. I'm gonna go ahead and slide those in. Now we know that's all good. We're gonna kind of try to tuck that away up here as well. We're gonna try to cable manage this the best we can. It's not gonna really work out that great. I will be honest in saying that. So now we're gonna plug in our disk drive up at the top. And while we're at it, we're also going to plug in our 1 terabyte Seagate hard drive. Again, now we're going to try to cable manage some more stuff by throwing it in this other hard drive bay. See, the next thing we're going to go ahead is plug in our 24-pin connector, which this is also keyed, so you cannot plug it in the wrong way. And then last but not least, we're going to plug in our CPU, our CPU power, 4-pin connector, which again, you cannot plug in the wrong way because it is keyed. And when we put our power supply in, I put it in with the fan facing down because there are no vents on top, and I want to be able to suck as much air up out of the case as possible. So the next thing we have, and last thing quite frankly, is our graphics card, which, you know what, let me go get the other one as well. So quite like the Tiger Blood build that we did for Mr. Fluff, I'll set that down like this. We were going to make an attempt at putting in this Radeon R9 270X by MSI. However, and I'm sure you guys have seen this in other videos with it sitting on the shelf over there. However, it is dead and just will not work anymore and does not even get recognized by computers. And I am positive that it is not just this motherboard because I have tried it on 3 separate systems and nothing will find it. It's not really good enough for me to look into and try to fix. So, mostly just a nice trophy for the shelf, which we're going for an upgrade anyway. It might not look as nice. It might not be as cool with its dual fans and its MSI. But we do have this RX 550 4 gigabyte by Asus. No power connectors of any kind. And I'm hoping that this will pair well with the i5 2320. So let's go ahead and slot that in. So there's already some peels on here. I took them off. There is a piece of plastic right here, which quite frankly, I'm a bit nervous about. I don't know why it's on there. Just make sure you line it up. Get it out from the thing. Line it up on the inside. Hear the click. Should be good to go. And let's go ahead and put our screws in it to give it a nice secureness, which I guess I already have the screws for it over here. Well, that is pretty much it. So I reckon let's go ahead and see if this thing fires up. I actually got this keyboard not too long ago. I don't really use it for anything other than this. I prefer the HyperX Alloy FPS Pro by HyperX. But this is an EVGA keyboard. It's really nice. It costs like $15 or so. And let's go ahead and flip the power switch. And moment of truth. All right. Well, we got this far. And this monitor does black out a bit. I'm just going to put that out there. The connection is VGA HDMI connector, so it's not exactly the best. All right, so now we are in Windows. Kind of wish I had my mouse. Oh, Jesus. Why is the DPI that high?
That's better. Guess we are going to have to use Microsoft Edge, unfortunately. And first thing we need to do is get our drivers. That's probably most important. All right, so now what we need to do is install our drivers. And all right, so now let's go ahead and find our product. We're going to be in graphics. We are going to be the Radeon 500 series, Radeon 500 RX series, and we are the Radeon RX 550. I'm pretty sure this is just the 550, not the XT. So, feeling good about that. We are running Windows 10 on here. I'm going to go ahead and download this. If it needs to download other stuff, so be it. And we're going to go ahead and wait for that to download and start the download process, and then we will get into some benchmarks and go over, temperature, things like that. I will put the side case back on and, you know, give it the regular environment that it has. Quite frankly, I don't know what to expect. I think regularly our temperatures for the i5 2320 are usually at about 40, 40 degrees Celsius at idle. So yeah, we're from anywhere to 40 to 48 on one core, peaking up to 50, but uh, around 40 is where we are. So yes. So while we go ahead and wait for this, I guess I'll just cut to it for you guys. I have to do this still though. Now I'm kind of bummed out that we didn't get a power connector because I'm honestly a bit weary um, about that PCI's lane wattage supporting that card. So I'm really hoping that nothing happens. I'm not getting it. All right, so here we have the TimeSpy DirectX 12 benchmark, and we're just going to record the screen like this so we don't have anything else trying to run in the background as we're doing this. Now, as we can see, our GPU information is not available, our CPU information is not available, and neither is our storage. Now, the RX 550 says that it is compatible with DirectX 12. It says it right on the box. So let's go ahead and run this. We might cut all this, maybe show a bit of clips on it, like we did for the Zephyrus review, and then give a rundown of everything afterwards. Let's go ahead and start this. Now, this does not look very good at all. I'd say I would honestly be surprised if we were getting any more than 20 something FPS, maybe even less. Was the first demo test. Now for graphic test 1. Ooh, that is bad. So we are looking at about 9 frames per second. That is not good at all. So it looks here like we have a score of 1291. That is horrible. We never even made it past 30 frames per second on this.
Oh god, that is absolutely. It doesn't even give us a full measurement of anything. Run that again. So there you have it. There is our Project Gateway build. Honestly, I gotta say I'm mentally disappointed um, about how that kind of turned out. That's an incredibly bad score, and I do not think that the performance of this machine is going to be able to do what we want it to do. Um, it does meet the spec requirements to play Dead by Daylight very technically. Um, I just don't see the actual performance going well unless you're playing it at like low. But if you are looking to build a computer and you want to just grab an old office computer and try to slap it up together, this is not going to be the computer for you. Um, I honestly think we had better performance out of our 6305 build. Um, I do not recommend getting this gateway computer and trying to soup it up because it just did not work out for us. Um, Make sure to check out our 6305 build if you haven't seen it, or preferably the Tiger Blood build. That was more of a actual PC build style video. And if you want, go ahead and come back and check out our sleeper build. I guarantee you that it is going to be so much better than this. But thanks for watching the video. I'm sorry it turned out disappointing. And until next time, this has been Neurocosm, and I will be signing off.